Hey, I've had the weekend to really think about the state of play Final Fantasy 16 footage and just really let it simmer in my mind. I really do believe that this game is going to be special. Throughout watching that state of play, all I could think about was how what I was watching felt like the developers they all got into a room, had ideas, and they just implemented them without really thinking about the hardware limitations. Now, obviously, I'm sure the game will be limited by hardware in some ways, because it's a console game, it's unavoidable. But it really looks like the designers grew up on Final Fantasy on the NES, PS1, PS2, etc. And they let their imagination run wild. And those same people grew up to become developers on Final Fantasy 16 and made a game how they imagined it as a kid. For example, let's take Final Fantasy X. When you're fighting Sin's fins and the core on his back, everyone just jumps off the airship and you start fighting the boss. I'm willing to bet if you ask the original designers if they would have done more with that on more powerful hardware, they would say yes. We even see some of this in the beta footage. That looks really different from the final game. Every time I see more footage of this game, I am just amazed at everything my eyes are witnessing. Even if the story or locations turn out to be lackluster, this game is going to be absolutely carried by the combat and set pieces. I haven't been this excited for a game in such a long time. It's so rare for me to look at a game from the marketing alone and just instantly see greatness and a potential game of the generation. The last time this happened to me was Elden Ring, and I didn't even have to look at that game much. I was like, wow, this game looks incredible. And then come to play it, even though I was thinking that Elden Ring was going to be incredible, it still blew away my expectations. And I really hope that 16 does the exact same to my head. The people who say that, oh, this isn't Final Fantasy, blah blah blah, what are they talking about, man? Like, what? I agree, right? I agree that Final Fantasy needs more non-human NPCs and party members. To me, that's a big issue. It's been a thing up until like Final Fantasy 12, and then since then, it just hasn't been a thing. And I really do hope that 17 goes back to the roots of more non-human NPCs or party members. 16 is the most Final Fantasy looking game yet. To me, I think people just aren't used to high fantasy in Final Fantasy. Because when was the last time Final Fantasy wasn't grounded in reality with cars and like modern architecture, etc., things like that? 12, maybe? I can't think off the top of my head. It's a shock to these people. These people, they've grown up post 7 or post 6, so they've played these games. That is what they believe that Final Fantasy should be as a franchise. And I hope these people end up playing 16 for themselves and forming their own opinion after playing the game in its entirety instead of hating it based on their own thought process on how Final Fantasy should be as a franchise. I don't want to make this too long. I just wanted to splurt my feelings into a video. That sounds disgusting, but you know, it's still true. This game just looks really incredible, man. It looks really special. I hope come launch, these feelings are still around in my head. And I really hope that by the time I finish the game, I just fall in love with it. And I really hope that it just feels like a special experience top to bottom.